episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, Moda, make something with Moda fabrics, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America. Welcome to Quilt with the Stars. Twinkling stars in the sky and a star in the quilt industry. Right here, Lisa Bongean. Welcome to Quilt with the Stars.
Thanks, Mary, for letting me come.
Oh my gosh, letting you get, I mean, it's like your star is right, it's risen. Your star is shining bright these days, and it's exciting to be able to talk to you about everything that you're doing and what's been going on and where you came from to get to this point. So we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the past few days, and you told me a little bit about where you started and how you came into the quilt industry and how it all began, and I wondered if you could tell the people a little bit about that as well.
Sure. I basically just stumbled upon a nice woman who was hand quilting a little pieced quilt during swimming lessons on a Saturday morning, and I went up to her and probably shocked her and said, you have to tell me, how do you know how to cut it all apart and put it all back together, because I need to know how to do that.
And you had your three boys, they were little, they were the ones in the swimming lessons.
Yes,
and,
yeah, not me. Yeah.
Sure, well, people come upon quilting in the strangest places.
Yeah.
But,
So then she told me about the little quilt shop in town, and I ran there on Monday morning and signed up for my first quilting class, and it took forever to come.
Of course.
Waiting.
Totally. And this is in Wisconsin,
yes.
right?
So once I had my rotary cutter class making my checkerboard quilt, I was off, and I knew that this was it for me.
That was it, and that was something you said to me that I thought was so great, and I think it's that quilt epiphany moment that people who really come to quilting and come to textile art and all that, and never leave. We have that moment of like, this feels so right.
Right. Yeah.
And you said that you had that.
Yes, I did.
That's great.
It was awesome.
So at first it was quilts, because we're going to talk about the wool, of course, that Primitive Gatherings is known for, famous for, continues to be more and more famous for, the wool, the hand-dyed wool. But what were the kind of quilts that you made? I mean, did you do a lot of baby quilts? Were you giving them away to friends? Were they for your family?
A little bit at first,
sure.
Not so much anymore, because original designs are hard to give away.
It's true.
But yes, baby quilts for my nieces and stuff like that. But just basically, when I started quilting, I wanted to learn everything.
Yeah.
So I found this wonderful guild in Appleton, Wisconsin. They took me under their wing. I learned from national teachers all over the country. It was just awesome to be able to have those opportunities. And I took classes from a wide range of quilters. Even though it wasn't something I might have been in love with, I still figured I would learn something from them.
That is really great advice, such great advice, because some teachers you'll click with, some classes you'll love, some won't be, your style, and certain projects aren't for you, but you learn something every time, and learn what you don't necessarily like or what you're not necessarily drawn to. Great.
Or
you were hungry.
Yeah, so many ways to applique. So
right, exactly. A million ways to do a quarter-inch seam. Everybody's got their method that they want to. Well, there's one way to do a quarter-inch seam, but there's a lot of ways to get there, right? Scant, yeah, exactly. Yes. So Primitive Gatherings is, I have to say that what I knew about you before we got to know each other was being at Quilt Market and seeing a line extending into, I don't know, the distance around a booth, and every year the same, and more. And the line was at your booth, Primitive Gatherings, and you have hit upon a really important. It's like a moment that people are having with your hand-dyed wool. Can you tell me how Primitive Gatherings started and how you're doing what you're doing now? I mean, I know it's
that's a big question.
Yeah.
It started off with just me wanting to do a bunch of different things, not just the quilting, not just the wool, but a gathering of stuff. So, I mean, I could go into antiques, I could go, the name is wide open. Right. So.
Brilliant name. So beautiful. Just gatherings, people coming together,
So then just doing what I love, and one of the things with the quilts and the wool, and then eventually combining them and using the wool on the quilts, is that what I found is that not everybody can hand applique. So with wool applique, everybody can fuse on a patch and stitch around.
Sure.
There's none of that intricate needle turn.
Right.
So that was really important for me to, because a lot of times you would meet quilters and they would say, well, I'm a piecer.
Right.
Well, you don't have to just be a piecer.
Right.
You can be an appliquer too. And I think that has, primitive gatherings in the wool and the applique, and the wool and the fabric combined has opened the door for people to become both.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's approachable, and you make it that way. I mean, your whole, the look of your brand, the look of your design, certainly, it's very warm and welcoming. I respond to it. Everybody,
Well, it's like home.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
And when people come into my home or come into the shop, that's what they feel. They feel like this is warm and this is it's a good feeling.
And that will never go out of
No,
style.
that does not go out of style. No.
We were talking too. Your business is growing, and you have how many employees?
Around 30, give or take.
Around 30. And your husband works in
yes.
the business. It's a family
Most
affair.
of my family works for me,
Yeah.
or works for us. It's not just me.
Right. And,
It's an army.
Yeah, and you said you were really gracious about that. From our discussions over the past couple of days, you've been so generous about saying how much of a team effort it all is.
Yeah, it is, because I could not do this alone, and we really have, just grown every year to the point where, I need help in so many more avenues than when I first started off. Yeah. So that, requires a lot of people, and I have a lot of good people in my life that help me do what I do.
And when you were saying that, we're talking about the business growing, and you said yesterday that there's something, even in a recession,
yes,
women will still continue to, what was it?
Get their hair done,
Yeah.
and their hobbies. They will not give up those two things.
Hair and the hobbies.
Hair and the
true,
hobbies.
and your hair is fabulous, may I just say. So we have some of your objects here to take a look at, and I have to talk about the Moda line, because that's a really exciting thing that's happening. A very, very exciting thing happening. Let's talk about the wool first. Okay. What have you got here? Tell me.
Just a couple samples. This is like an overdyed. This is all the same wool, just dyed a multiple of different colors. And this is like an overall even dyed wool. And this is just like a little small sample that we'd sell in our booth to somebody who might be just getting into wool. Right. So they have a piece of many colors, because wool, you don't need a lot.
Right.
That's
like a little penny rug or something.
For penny rugs, for little flowers, leaves, whatever, appliques on their mat. And it's nice to collect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Your palette is so specific. It's this muted, really nice. And the peachy, I mean, this, I think, honestly, my favorite is that, like, lamb. It looks like a cashmere sweater.
It could be Santa beard. It could be lamb. It just goes lots of different ways.
And then this one.
So this would be then another hand-dyed piece, but then it shows more of the overall modeled look. So it looks like hand-dyed cotton. Only we're doing that on the wool then. So then it just brings a lot of depth to your piece with this movement within the solid color.
Right.
It's just fun to work with.
Another design element. And you were telling me that you learned from rug hookers, right? About dyeing the wool.
Yes, I have a little saying that's kind of funny, so it's kind of cute. But when I was researching how to hand dye wool, I would, I'm in the quilting world, so I'd ask around, and none of the quilters or anybody who was kind of doing it, they wouldn't tell me anything.
They kept it close to the vest. They weren't sharing their secrets.
But the hookers, they will tell you everything.
Oh, is that right? Well,
yes. So they're more than willing to share their information. So that's where I found a lot of dye formulas, the information, the different types of dyeings, and then adapt what I learned to use for my methods. So
that's great. That's great. Okay, so the fabric line for Moda.
Yes, this is the new part of my life, my quilting world, is to be honored to be a Moda designer. They just take such good care of the people in their company and around them. Yes, so I'm very fortunate to be a part of their family. And this is the next fabric line that will be out soon in stores, late April or early May.
Of 2012.
Yes, 2012, yep. And this is called Seasonal Little Gatherings. And it encompasses 2 seasons, actually. It goes from fall to winter to Christmas, and it has some little bits of, I started off with some little vintage prints and stuff that I go from, and then what I'll do is I will hand draw some of my little motifs that I use, like the little pumpkins, the little reindeer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know,
Liz,
and then
I love it.
Can I have it? Put in a little bit of the primitive look, the stars. We can't have enough stars in our world.
No.
Yeah, let's see. There's a crow here somewhere too. Where is the crow?
I'm a small print fan. Let's see. Where's the crow?
Oh, here.
Okay.
He's kind of a bird. Maybe he's not a crow. Yeah, he's a bird.
Oh, yeah. With the little pear in his mouth.
Yeah, so just some little itty bitty things. And what was nice about Moda is they kind of really listened to me as a shop owner.
Yeah.
And I kind of know what's not out there and what I can't get my hands on. So they let us create, you know, a wide range of backgrounds. My earlier line was kind of all backgrounds. And then they let me do my muted down palette, because what I was doing is I was using fabric out there and spraying and antiquing it down. To make it look like this, so now it's coming out like this already.
That's nice.
That's nice. That's nice. It's a lot less scary for some people to spray their quilts.
Right. Yeah. Oh gosh, that makes me nervous too.
Yes.
Being a shop owner, I think, is something that has given you a great insight into the business. Tell me what you get from that helps feed your creativity or feed your next big idea.
Well, you kind of see the trends. You see what comes. You see what goes. You see what's out there now, so you can work in that moment, or you can branch out to into other new things. But it just gives you a sense of just being able to create on a daily basis and be around all that fabric, and just I'm not gonna lie to you, quilt shop owners, it's a hard job. It's probably one of the toughest jobs out there, because we get our fabric in, we have to make something out of it before we can sell it. Right. Because the fabric, even though it's pretty, it just almost doesn't always sell itself.
Sure.
So as soon as we put it in a quilt, it's gone off the shelf.
Right.
So
and then everybody keeps asking for it.
Do you have that one? No, it's in the kit. That type of thing.
Yeah,
so
it is hard.
That's one of the things that you have to appreciate your shop owners, because they work hard. They really work hard. So
you heard it from Lisa. That's absolutely true.
And their managers, because I'm not there all the time.
Exactly. You got a few other things to do, these days. Well, I think part of what makes people respond to you and your work so much is you, because you are just a very approachable and friendly, fascinating person to me. I mean, you're cool, Lisa. You know that, right? You're like really cool.
I just try to be who I am. I try not to be somebody I'm not.
That's what you do. That's what happens. Is you're yourself, and people are like. Really
so you either love me for who I am, or that's because that's all you're going to get.
Right. Good. I like that. Well, best of luck to you, and thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, it was awesome. I had a great time.
I'm a fan as well.
Oh.
See you next time. Thanks.
This episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, Moda, make something with Moda fabrics, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America.